Hey, what's going on, you guys? In this video, I'm going to be showing you 5 must-have plugins that I use on just about every music production I do in Ableton Live. If you're a fan of music production videos like this, trying to learn something new, please feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I also have a link in the description to my Gumroad store where I have tons of free products for you to check out and download for yourself. So be sure to check that out. And yeah, let's get right into it. So I'll start off right off the bat with Fabfilter Pro-Q3. This is an EQ plugin that is extremely useful in so many different ways. A very flexible type of plugin that gives a lot of visual feedback. For instance, when I hit the play button, you can actually see the frequencies on the screen. And this is extremely useful for actually knowing what you're affecting. So for instance, if I was going to use a low cut or a high pass filter on this musical element, I could drag that into the track and hit this button here where it shows these tiny headphones. And this is actually going to isolate only the frequencies that I am cutting. And you can hear right there, I'm actually taking out mostly the kick drum and the bottom bass half of the snare drum. So a very useful plugin in a lot of different ways. You can create as many nodes as you want, shape the EQ curve with sometimes very dramatic shapes in case you want to do some more surgical cuts. I tend to use this plugin constantly. It's my favorite EQ for that reason. The second plugin I'm going to get into is actually sort of an umbrella type plugin. It features a lot of different plugins. This is the Virtual Mix Rack by Slate Digital. This is just such an easy plugin to use. I've actually mixed entire tracks only using this plugin. It features a wide range of modules from basically EQ, compression, and saturation. These two plugins I use constantly. This is an LA2A emulation that Slate does. They call it the FG2A. This is a great optical compressor sound. It sounds extremely musical. It's very good for putting on vocals, guitars, bass, and this is actually the virtual mix bus. So this is meant to emulate the sound of saturation you get from pushing an analog mixing desk. The next plugin I'm going to go into is Decapitator. This is a saturation plugin full on. It's made by Soundtoys and it just sounds fantastic. You have different types of saturation you can use here, including T, which stands for tape, which sounds very good on different sources. This is both a sound design type plugin, a great all-around saturation plugin. It just sounds really good. The fourth plugin I'm going to go into is Valhalla Vintage Verb. This is a very creative sounding reverb, but it just sounds really good. You can use it in a lot of different creative ways. It has great presets if you're trying to even do very short reverbs, like something for a drum room or to make your guitars, electric guitars, sound more lively. Has really good short ambient reverbs and very good long, creative, chaotic reverbs for more sound designy purposes. And you have 3 different color options. So you can go to a 1970s style, which doesn't just change the color scheme of the UI. It actually changes really the sound, the character of the plugin itself. 1980s, which has more modulation, which sounds really good. And also a modern version, which is more high fidelity, going along with that whole concept of really great utility plugins that I use all the time. And that's Fabfilter Pro-L2. It's so quick to limit your music. You can see the waveforms just like Fabfilter's Pro-Q3. So this is also sort of an educational plugin because you can see everything that's happening on the screen. So as you can see there, I can see the waveforms coming in. I can see how much I'm limiting those things. I have a wide selection of different types of limiting. I have an oversampling feature, which goes to super high fidelity to help prevent intersample peaks, i.e. distortion on your mixing bus. So a very, very flexible, professional limiting plugin. I use this almost all the time when I'm making sample packs where you have to limit virtually every single sound in the sample pack. If you're thinking about buying third-party plugins, these would be the 5 I would recommend. And I'm just going to go into some honorable mentions for this video. So I would definitely count this classic Waves plugin. This is the Kramer tape plugin. Now this is also sort of a saturation plugin, but it can be used as a lo-fi plugin. It can be used as a filter. It can be used as a compressor. It can be used as a delay. A lot of times what I'll tend to do is just go to the mastering presets section and go to soft, clean compression. It's just adding saturation and gluing the mix together. And I find this plugin does an extremely good job of tying the bass frequencies together in your overall mix. So if you're looking for something to add to your mix bus, this is really, in my opinion, a great addition. And one last honorable mention also comes from Waves. This is the Abbey Road TG mastering chain. This has so many great features packed into it, and it just sounds extremely good. This has one of the best stereoizer effects I feel like you can get. So any stereo source like a synthesizer or an ambient reverb or a delay, going through this, you can make extremely wide and it won't be phasey sounding, which is a very useful feature. And then you also have here, this is basically a parallel compressor. So this compressor, just by hitting the on button and just dialing in the mix, you get awesome optical kind of parallel compression. It brings out all the detail. If you have to quickly mix a vocal and you just want to give a really good sort of parallel compressor underneath it, it's so quick, it's so easy. And the EQ section has a wonderful upper EQ band. This band right here is so useful. So that would be my top 5 plugins that I use in Ableton Live, my top 5 third-party plugins I use, and some honorable mentions. If you found this video useful for your recommendations, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And again, if you're interested in some free content you can download for your own music productions, check the link in the description for my Gumroad store where you can find a ton of free stuff. And I'll catch you in the next video. Have fun.